Welcome to today's broadcast. My name is Colleen Patterson, and I am the Director of Employer Services and Compliance at Savoy. So far this week, we have been joined by Wendy Ebner and Chris Hanley, who both focused on carrier allowances and changes in rules in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware markets. Today, we're going to be focusing on New York. To address these questions, I am joined by Keith Zuckerman, who is the Director and Practice Leader for the New York market here at Savoy. Keith, what do brokers need to know about carriers in your market?
Thanks very much, Colleen. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. Enjoying getting a chance to speak to everybody out there. First off, we hope everybody's doing as well as possible during these unprecedented times. Never in my career have I seen anything like this before in this business, and it's certainly challenging all of us to be informed and inform our clients as best as possible. I thought I'd start with something. I read this the other day, and I thought it was pretty funny in regard to where we are right now in our worlds. And what that is that there used to be 7 days of the week, and now that they've been replaced by 3 days, and those days are yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And I thought that was pretty appropriate for what we're going through right now. We'd like to express our sincere gratitude to our broker partners and their clients, as our brokers are helping their clients make very difficult and unprecedented decisions, ones that they've never been faced with before. And also, I would like to thank Colleen and her team of employer services and compliance at Savoy for doing a tremendous job out there. They're putting out great content that is not only brand new and evolving day by day and highly confusing, but they're also doing it in lightning warp speed time and in an easy to understand way. The feedback that we've been getting from our brokers has been amazing, and we appreciate what the teams at Savoy are doing for their brokers and client partners. So in this segment, I'm going to review the New York medical carriers and what their plans of action are. All this info can be found on our COVID site, and the charts I will be referencing are being updated each time there are changes or updates from the carriers. We'll start off and go alphabetically along with this, with the carriers here, and we'll start with Aetna. So our friends at Aetna are really not very active in the small group marketplace in New York. Most of the publications that they've put out are centered around large group, and in the small group, they reference the AFA plan, which unfortunately is not offered in New York small group. So there's really not many updates in regard to the small group status with Aetna, but we assume that a lot of their policies are similar to what they're doing in large. And so in large group, they will allow and look at benefit buy downs. The group will keep the same renewal date. They are doing relaxed guidelines for employees in regard to furloughed employees and employees with reduction in hours to stay on plan. Rehires will not be subject to new waiting periods if they are terminated to come back on. As far as premium grace periods go, in large group, they're saying right now there will be no extensions as far as what they're doing, but I would certainly ask if they're needed. As far as COVID-19 testing goes, the member cost share is being waived. And also they're waiving early refill limits, as CVS is waiving charges for home delivery as well. I guess that's one of the perks of having your insurer be owned by the largest pharmacy in the country. Member cost share and telemed is being waived as well. So that right now is the Aetna update. Next, we have the folks at Cigna. As we all know, Cigna at this, for a while now, is not selling and has not sold in the small group marketplace. So everything we're discussing here will be in the large group market. They have not come out with any official policy or stance in regard to special open enrollment. We're waiting to hear from them on a final decision. Buy downs are not being allowed at this time, and they are doing furloughed and layoff special rules where they're calling it relaxed eligibility guidelines for furloughed employees. And what they are requiring is they're asking employers to advise them as a company if they will be taking advantage of the relaxed eligibility guideline rules. At this time, they're not asking for employee names, and they're just requiring that the employees have been covered on the plan as of 3/1/20. Premium grace periods will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. Cigna has always been a very flexible and easy company to do business with, and we're actively engaged with them on some situations right now, and they've seemed very willing to work with clients. In-network diagnostic testing for COVID has been waived. On maintenance medications and early fills, they own their Express Scripts, and right now they're not extending any early refills. They feel that they do have enough maintenance medications to handle whatever need will be required at the time. Telemedicine is also available and working. Cigna has always been a strong believer in telemedicine, and we're seeing no change in service there as far as Cigna goes. Next, we have our friends at we have our friends at Emblem. And as far as Emblem goes, right now, they just announced that they will be doing a special open enrollment for April 1st. This will be available to members that were not previously covered. Additionally, they will be offering it, they just announced yesterday as well, a special open enrollment through their coverage in Health Pass. They will be using a definition of furloughed or laid off employees with reduction in hours, that they will allow these folks to stay on plan for the time. Right now, they're saying that that will be through May 31st, 2020. Premium grace periods are not being discussed right now at this current point in time. We will keep you updated if that does change. Member cost shares being waived for testing for the disease. Maintenance medication, they will do a waiver of an early refill on a case-by-case basis, and telemedicine is available at their normal cost share. So then we get to Empire. Empire Blue Cross will be allowing a special open enrollment. One of the things that Empire did say is that they will extend their small group deadline to April 8th for an April 1 effective date if there's anyone looking to write some new business out there. Additionally, on the special open enrollment, it's only to folks that waived coverage previously, and that will be a special open enrollment that they're coming out with for April 1st. They too will accept a relaxed eligibility definition for employees that may be furloughed or have a reduction in hours. As far as premium grace periods go, they said they will discuss these on a case-by-case basis, and they should contact their account manager. And again, Savoy is willing to help with any situations there. In-network diagnostic testing for COVID, member cost shares will be waived. Maintenance medication, they will waive a 30-day refill. That was a recent development that we just got from them, and we'll be updating the chart there as well. On telemedicine, they will waive cost sharing now between this point in time and June 14th on most services. They're recommending that folks download the Sydney app in regard to help them make decisions on accessing care. Large group guidelines, which were released by Empire, were very similar to what we saw in small group. And then next we have Health First. Health First right now has not issued any guidance as far as on furloughed employees. They will be providing a special open enrollment that they just announced last night, and we're updating the chart on that as well. Premium grace periods at this point in time, they are not stating that they will work with a client in regard to a payment program. Member cost shares being waived on in-network diagnostic testing for COVID-19. They will allow a 30-day supply one-time refill for maintenance medications. And telemedicine is alive and well with Health First as well. So then next we have our friends at Oscar. At Oscar right now, there's been no announcement of a special open enrollment. They have not issued any guidance yet in regard to furloughed or laid off employees, as well as no discussions yet on premium grace periods. They'll be doing a broker webinar, I believe, Friday, where one of the things that we're seeing is some of the newer carriers in the marketplace are taking a little more time to kind of evolve and develop their policies. And so far, we haven't heard anything on this stuff yet from the folks at Oscar. Maintenance medication, they will be waiving an early refill on 30-day supplies for folks, and we're updating our policy as well. Telemedicine is also available for normal cost share, zero for non-HSA plans, and a slight charge for HSA members for non-COVID type care. Then last, we have in the New York market, our friends from United Healthcare in Oxford. They have issued a delayed effective date. You can put a April 1st effective date in as late as April 8th. Always not recommended to go in as late as possible, but if we have to do it, we can do it. Oxford also has announced that there will be a special open enrollment, and that will be for an April 1st effective date. We're already processing some enrollments with those in regard to that situation. There was some confusion in regard to will Oxford be allowing buy downs, and what Oxford and United had stated is that they can allow a buy down only for groups that have done a single option. And most Oxford clients do have a dual, triple, or quadruple option. So those groups that have more than one plan would not be able to do an off-cycle buy down. Only a single option plan would be allowed to do it. Oxford has clearly come out and stated that they will have relaxed eligibility guidelines, allowing furloughed employees and those with reduction in hours to stay on the plan, and that will be for the interim future. Premium grace periods, they will be on a case-by-case basis. They want to deal directly with the employer with their finance and billing rep. We've been trying to stay involved in these conversations to help advocate for our brokers and our brokers' clients, but most of the conversations they want to have directly with the client and their billing representative. In-network diagnostic testing for COVID, member cost shares will be waived for plans. And then on maintenance and member medications, they will be allowing early refills of 30-day supply of maintenance medications, which we had blasted out. Additionally, some of the formulary changes that Oxford had announced and United Healthcare for 5/1 will be deferred to 7/1. And we've sent some information out on that. There's some of the popular diabetic drugs and only a certain amount of drugs, but some have been delayed to 7/1, where the majority will still be moving forward with the formulary change on May 1st. Telemedicine has been rolled out to all Oxford groups now, not just the converted 2.0 groups that they're talking about, but that is now available to everyone. And for the groups that have not renewed into the 2.0 model, where they will be getting new ID cards and everything else, they need to get the coupon through Amwell to be able to get a zero copay for it for telemedicine. And the groups that have already converted, should already have their telemedicine benefit available to them. And so with that, one very important thing we want to point out on April 1st is that we all know Oxford's market share is very large in New York, and that starting with May 1 renewals, small group renewals will be transitioning to the United Healthcare member site and the member experience. That means all Oxford members, starting with 5/1 renewals moving forward, will get new ID cards. So on a May 1st renewal, those ID cards are set to go out on April 15th. So it's very important to get your renewal changes in as quickly as possible to avoid member disruption. Billing groups will be closed out as well. And we have plenty of information to send to you if that's something that you need or not up to speed on. Additionally, just a couple other things I wanted to mention. Health Pass, they're allowing right now special open enrollments through Oxford and Emblem at this time. We have not heard yet if Oscar and Health First will be allowing it through Health Pass. And then one last thing, Colleen, that I wanted to finish up with, that with a lot of these bills being passed and what we're seeing out there and what hasn't gotten a ton of notice that I want to make sure all our broker partners are aware of, is that in the CARES Act that was passed, and I believe Wendy might have mentioned it the other day as well, is that now in a flex plan or in an HSA, over-the-counter medications will now be covered, and that's retro to January 1. Also with the new CARES Act, high deductible health plans can cover telemed pre-deductible. So some really important changes. I know on flex plans, the biggest thing that employees did not like was not having over-the-counter drugs covered, and this will enable them to do it. The one issue is that it's taken some flex carriers will have to reprogram cards and systems to be able to have a smooth adjudication process, and I'm sure they'll work through that over the next 60, 90 days. but it was very important information and good for people to take advantage, especially in these times. So again, Colleen, thank you to you and your team for everything that you folks are doing to help us advise our clients and our brokers out there. And thanks for the opportunity to present today.
Thanks, Keith, so much for participating. The information was fantastic. As Keith had mentioned, some of the items that he was going over are new within the last 24 hours. So definitely be sure to continue to check the carrier guide that we have on our website. Just a couple of other things that I wanted to mention. We will be hosting a webinar on Monday, April 6th at 11 a.m. And we are going to be focusing on how the CARES Act affects clients. Specifically, we're going to address the new federal leave laws, interactions with state law, and also the Paycheck Protection Program, which is one of the loan programs administered by the Small Business Administration. So definitely keep an eye out for the invite. As always, should you have any questions, please reach out to your dedicated Savoy team and continue to use all of the resources available in the COVID-19 section of our website at savoyassociates.com. From all of us at Savoy, stay healthy and safe. Thank you for joining us today.